man made. Why must I chase the cat?
Good evening and welcome to Pound Posse Presents. I need to start the night with a bit of an apology because I was not here last week. I don't know if anybody really noticed. I know a couple people did. You know, it's just been one of those times where I've been under the weather, and I do apologize. I have to make a particular apology to Jeffrey, who is a coworker of mine. The last night we worked together, I had him watching the show on YouTube and telling him all about it, and he was like, yeah, and he apparently was looking for me last Saturday night, and I wasn't here, and that was the very first thing he said to me when I saw him again at work, was like, what happened? I was looking for you. So, Jeffrey, if you're watching tonight, and I hope you are, but with my luck, you're not, I do apologize, and I will take this opportunity to make you a little bit of a star and say happy birthday, even though I know it's not until later this month. But anyway, happy birthday, sorry, here we are now. I'm going to start the night with a little tribute to one of my favorite Facebook dogs. We took a look at him on a previous show, Spike Taylor. Zach, can we get the first picture of little Spike up? Spike survived about 5 years past the projections with congestive heart failure. There is Spike with his honorary NJSPCA badge and bandana. He had his ups and downs, but just before Christmas, it was his time. He was probably about 13 years old from the best that I could tell, looking at his page, just coming up on 14. He joins a number of other high-profile dogs who passed in 2013. Let's go to the next picture, Zach. You gotta love this little dog, There were a number of tributes that were made for Spike with shouts of heck yeah, encouraged to be shouted. One was the Saturday after he passed, and one was for New Year's Eve. And I'm not gonna lie, on New Year's Eve, I explained myself to my coworker. And at the stroke of midnight, when she was all like, woohoo, midnight, I'm like, woohoo, heck yeah! So I fed into it as well. But one of the tributes was prompted by another little dog named Juno of Juno's Place. And the other for New Year's Eve was by Spike's parents. Spike's mission to help other dogs will continue. Let's get the next picture of Spike. Yeah, see, he's such a little cutie. Look at him with his little skull and crossbone tie. I mean, come on, is that not adorable? He was a celebrity in his own right. His page was most entertaining. I got to give his mom a lot of props for, putting her heart into making his personality shine. And there is his brother Scrappy, the big guy, and his new brother Milo. Is the little puppy there chewing on mom's finger. They will continue the hijinks and the good deeds through Spike's Operation Pet Pals, and the Facebook page Spike Taylor will be known effective January 6th as Operation Pet Pals, and that was announced a little ahead of Spike's passing, and I don't think that was quite a coincidence. But really, Spike made a great impact, and like I said, he's joined quite a few other dogs that passed in 2013. And, it was a big year for loss with some of these dogs, and I almost feel bad because there was a time where I took a look at Rufus and Rosie and now Spike, and they're all gone. So I hope it's not me. I hate to think that, and, it's kind of not a laughing matter. I've been crying for Spike like he was my own. But anyway, we're going to check out little Juno, who took Spike's passing very hard. That's Juno right there. And her personality is a riot as well on Facebook. She's obsessed with Criminal Minds, and all she wants to do is get on an episode. It's really funny. But Juno is quite entertaining. And as I said, Spike was her inspiration, and you can check out Juno's Place on Facebook. There's another picture of little Juno. Like I said, she's a real riot. Let's get the other picture up, Zach. Yes, no, yes. There we go. I know. There's a time delay that throws me off every time. But yeah, Juno in one of her little cars, all dressed up to fit the occasion. But Juno is also really, really entertaining, and you know, feel free to check out Juno's place. There's still a lot of talk of Spike, and like I said, it was Juno who prompted the first Heck Yeah celebration at noon on the Saturday after Spike passed. So, you know, a lot of these Facebook pages are more than just entertainment. You know, the animals do their own good for other animals, and Juno does as well. And so along with Spike Taylor's legacy and Juno's works and the works of a lot of the other entertainment factors on Facebook, other dogs do get helped, and it's a beautiful thing. Now we're going to take a look at a dog who is available locally looking for a home, and that would be Waldo. Waldo has a face to die for. He's about 80 pounds. He's very loving. He's leash trained. He's good with dogs. He loves kids. They're saying no cats, so he'd probably be best with a dog his own size. You know, cats, little dogs can all be, you know, too interesting for a bigger dog. And I guess Waldo has this funny little habit of, like, when he meets another dog, he might try to dominate them, if you know what I mean. And not every dog is a fan of male domination. So you might want to make sure that you properly introduce and manage a situation like that if you do have an interest in Waldo. Anyway, his time is running out, which is, you know, really, it happens. It's an epidemic with dogs in pounds and shelters. But Waldo is about 8 years old, and the poor guy was found tied in the woods and left to die. I guess there was a complaint of a dog barking all night, and sure enough, when they tracked it down, it was poor Waldo stuck in the woods. And that's a horrible way to leave an animal, folks. It really is. But Waldo is a big old lap dog. His deadline was Monday, but I read that he's been given some extra time, so I hope that's the case. And I hope that, you know, someone will figure out just how special he is and give him a place to crash. You know, 8 is, you know, senior citizen status, but it doesn't mean, you know, he's got one foot in the grave. You know, he's got years left to love and be loved and be happy. And if you are interested in finding out more about Waldo, you can call the Avon Canton Animal Control, and their number is 860-673-0297, and leave a message. Once again, that number is 860-673-0297. You know, like I said, originally I had read that Waldo's time was up on Monday, and I believe from what I saw, he's got a little extra time because he is such a special dog. So, you know, if you're looking for one, there he is. He'll probably make your life complete. If you've got, you know, another dog, be sure it's a match. And, you know, people, if you've got an animal and you really can't take care of it anymore, don't be stupid and tie it out in the woods where, you know, anything could happen to it. You know, I even read about a 10-year-old dog that was, you know, tied outside the shelter. I'll take the camera back, Zach. You know, in a case like that, the dog is left with nothing. You know, I mean, the least you can do is man up, so to speak, and walk the dog into a shelter. You know, leave it with its name. It's only a little piece of its former life that it'll have when you leave it. You know, these dogs have to go through a whole lot of change and getting used to the fact that they're not in a home anymore. I mean, the least you can do is leave them with their name and, you know, tell people at the shelter what the dog's personality is, what their likes are, what their dislikes, you know, how you've taken care of it, if you've not taken care of it. You know, just to tie an animal outside a shelter or to leave it tied in the woods or anywhere else is just, it's wrong, you know. If you're going to bail, do it the right way, and, you know, walk that dog into a place where at least it'll have a roof over its head and be fed and not be, you know, just abandoned like that, because it's really not right, you know. If you have an animal should be for life. Sometimes things happen and, you know, you really can't take care of the animal anymore. Do the right thing. Don't just abandon it like that, because it's the worst thing. I mean, that dog has Waldo and that 10-year-old dog that got left outside the shelter. Anything could have happened. And, you know, they deserve to be in at least safety. You know, being put in a pound is definitely not always anything but a death sentence, but at least it didn't have to suffer and die in the elements by itself. End of rant. Anyway, the New Haven Animal Shelter has a number of urgents. You know, they've posted some adoptions and they had an event today, but it certainly doesn't change the urgent status of the dogs who are not doing well. And, you know, I've said before, you know, dogs aren't meant to be kenneled and kept away from human contact. So a lot of them don't do well after a while. And sometimes it takes some dogs longer, sometimes it takes dogs no time at all, you know, to start to stress out in a kennel and hurt themselves and, you know, start getting angry at other dogs and lose weight and deteriorate. And sometimes that's what puts a dog into an urgent status. Now, I'm not sure what the parameters are for the urgent dogs in New Haven. I know that some of them are probably stressed and some of them have been there for a long time. But, you know, there's plenty of wonderful dogs that you always see in New Haven. And, you know, when they post urgents, it's the real deal. And their adoption hours in New Haven are Monday to Saturday from 12:30 to 4:30. And no appointment is necessary, which is a good thing, because a lot of places, you know, do put restrictions on your visiting time, but not New Haven. So Monday to Saturday from 12:30 to 4:30, no appointment necessary. And if you want to call ahead, dial 203-946-8110. Once again, that's 203-946-8110. You know, plenty of dogs are out and about and around, and you know, if you're looking, a pound is the first place you should go, because these dogs really do have time limits. You know, it's no joke. From the time that they walk through those doors, it's you know, the countdown begins. And, you know, some of them for some reason are overlooked and some are adopted quickly, but a pound is really, if you're going to adopt, should be the first place that you visit. Now, I know that Bridgeport has some dogs who need to get out as well. There's Littles and Tanner are among the ones that I've seen posted on Facebook, and I could not find a picture of Tanner anywhere, unfortunately. I had posted one, I don't know where it went. And Littles has gotten a lot of attention. I guess Littles is having a great deal of meltdown and needs to get out very quickly, you know, before the inevitable happens there too. And I guess she's a real good dog, and they don't want that to happen to her either. So the number for Bridgeport is 203-576-7727. Once again, that's 203-576-7727. And, you know, there's all kinds of posts on Facebook about these dogs. I do have the New Haven ones posted on the Pound Posse Presents Facebook page, which, by the way, is over 400 likes now. Thank you very much, everyone. The Facebook page for the New Haven Animal Shelter is Friends of the New Haven Animal Shelter. Bridgeport has a page, Bridgeport Animal Control Support. So you can go to those pages and look at any of the dogs and cats and anything else that they have that are posted for adoption, and follow their stories and maybe find out a little bit more. You know, if you're looking to adopt, you can spend a little time on the computer and see which dogs are where and which ones kind of like strike your fancy, and read about them, and, you know, get a little feel for their personality, and, you know, save you. People think, you know, I don't want to traipse all over and go to this place and that place. There's a lot of legwork you can do from home, and, you know, it makes your search a lot easier. But then by the same token, you can go to the shelter and, you know, maybe the dog you thought you wanted, you know, doesn't pop out at you, and another dog does that maybe wasn't posted. So, you know, don't be afraid to go to the pounds and the shelters either, because you just never know. You know, fate has a funny way of making things work out, and you walk into a shelter and bam, there's like, you know, that instant connection, and it's a beautiful thing. Sure, it's hard to, you know, walk in there and see all those faces that, you know, you're not going to take home, and you know what their fate could be if they're not saved. But, you know, you made the effort, and, you know, I think everybody should man up and go to a pound, a municipal facility, and see what it's like, and see how those dogs live. It's really no joke. It's mostly cold, concrete kennels. Some of them don't have outside access. Some of them do. You know, there's beds and there's blankets, but, you know, it's not your couch and it's not home. And, you know, there's many dogs that sit in pounds and languish, and they don't have interest, and they don't have visitors. So, you know, to have a little bit of attention kind of makes their day. Think about it, you know. It's the thing to do. You know, their days are long, and their time is short, and they've got nothing, and they've got nobody. And, you know, you might even find yourself in a position, if the shelter allows it, to, you know, volunteer and to walk these dogs and to play with the dogs and to give them a little something to look forward to until they find, you know, whatever home that they find. You know, help a shelter pet live the life that they were meant to and adopt. You know, it's the right thing to do. You know, so many people are busy abandoning animals. You know, if you've got the space, foster. If you've got the heart, adopt. It's not a bad thing, believe me. You know, a lot of people don't want to make that commitment. So, as I always say, do it the temporary way and foster. Like I said, if you're not sure if you want to keep the animal or not, and it's still a fit in your home, it's kind of like renting to own. You can always decide to adopt it later. I'm just going to make mention of the fact that, I mean, we all know it's cold outside. It's freezing. It's beyond freezing. And there's a 15-minute limit legally to have an animal outside. You know, that's pretty much written so that an animal's not left tied outside for more than that. But really, a dog left loose in a yard for more than that is no better. You know, it's the legal limit, 15 minutes. It's a potty break. You know, if you have pets, you might already know that, you know, they can't handle it for more than a few minutes. The cold is bad enough, but with the snow on the ground, that makes it even worse. You know, dog will run out and think, woohoo, snow, and then all of a sudden their feet are freezing. You know, the signs that your pet can't take it anymore are when they're lifting their feet, you know, they fall over. You know, it's pretty obvious when a dog or even a cat has had enough outside in the cold. You can consider for your dogs to shovel some of the grassy area. You know, that's what I do at my house. You know, not only do I shovel the path where we walk, but, you know, I'll shovel a little space in the grass so that, you know, if they don't want to go plow into the snow, they can use the grass. It's, you know, a little snow cover, but it's not, you know, obviously not going to be as tall as the snowfall that you have everywhere else. They don't have to go dive into it. You know, there's a lot of options to keep your pet's feet from getting so cold, and you know, you can utilize them. I certainly love dogs with booties. It's kind of funny because, you know, if you've ever put booties on a dog, you know how they kind of do that walk, that crazy, they trying to shake them off, and, you know, they got them on all 4 feet, so it's like all 4 feet, they're shaking them, and they kind of look like something that came out of the water and is trying to walk on land. But, you know, they help. They really do. And you may have to do a little wrestling match to get your boots on your dogs, but, you know, it protects their feet. I know that I was just telling Speedo before the show, you know, my boys are 11 now, my big boys, and, you know, they're aging, and they age differently. You know, Bocce was always very much more the snow bunny than Duke. Duke has become more interested in the snow. He wants to eat it, whereas Bocce used to do that before. Duke's tolerance for the cold and the snow is a little higher than Bocce's. Unfortunately, Bocce being, you know, the shepherd mix, his back end isn't as strong as it ever used to be, and it seems like the cold really bothers his back legs. And, you know, it's kind of like sad to see him go out there and he steps in the snow and his back legs give out and they're cold. And, I mean, the last snow we had wasn't even that much. And, you know, he was having a hard time. And this one, with the cold, made it even worse for him. I actually had to carry him. And he's a big boy, and I'm not. I actually had to carry him part of the way back into the house because he just was having a hard time. So, of course, thankfully, I don't ever get rid of anything. And I still had the little booties, well, not so little booties, that Daisy used back in the day. I mean, I had a Daisy-sized pair and a Kelly-sized pair, big and small. And I put them just on his back feet. And, of course, it was a little bit of a wrestling match to get them on. But he didn't even do, like, you know, the stupid trying to shake them off. He embraced it. They're a little snug, and I think that works in my favor because they're staying on better. But just his back feet with the booties, and he was outside like a champ, you know. I actually have to wrestle him to get the booties off, which is like the stupidest thing ever because, you know, you would think he'd want them to come off. But I also don't want to leave them on because the way they don't come all the way up, you know. And with a few inches of snow, the snow gets inside of them. So, of course, you know, now there's moisture inside. So you don't want to leave him with this wetness on his feet. So I actually have to wrestle him to get them off, which is really great because, you know, it's bad enough to have one wrestling match. It's even better to have two. But, you know, it helps him. And, you know, if your dogs, they may not like the booties, but they'll get used to it and maybe even realize that it's helping them. I mean, Bocce's now, like, prancing around outside like king of the world again. And it's good to see because, you know, the cold was just going right through him. So keep in mind the fact that it's cold for you, it's cold for your pets. They can't just be thrown out in the snow. Yeah, they're going to do their thing sooner or later, but, you know, they have to have their walks and their potty breaks, and you've kind of got to be the one to be creative and, you know, do what you can to help them with the weather and with the temperatures and with the snow. So think about what you can do. I mean, I was thinking, what am I going to do? And then I remembered I had the booties, and, you know, it makes a difference. And, of course, it's really funny because you hear him, if you ever hear somebody with slippers, like an old person that shuffles, you know, that little sound that slippers will make, that's how Bocce sounds when he's walking in the booties. And it's cute and it's funny, but, you know, but the bottom line is it's helpful. And if I have to start putting on Duke, I will do that too. And if I have to put him on all four of Bocce's feet, I will too. But right now it's working on just the back, and that's all that matters. But remember, watch your animals when they're outside. If they show signs, you know, they're lifting their feet, they're limping, their legs go out from under them, they fall over, they've been out for too long. You know, be aware of that. And don't subject them to any more time out in the cold than you have to. You know, I've read a lot of things on Facebook where, you know, people are having to fight their dogs to get them to come back inside, but they're not even, you know, they're dogs. They can't tell you, you know, that they are cold when they are, and they may just be being stubborn. And if your dog's laying out in the snow, maybe it can't get up and you think it's just being cute and it doesn't want to come inside. It's possible that, you know, they're not too cold, but a dog can't tell you, or a cat can't tell you that, you know, their feet are getting frostbitten and that they hurt. So it's up to you. It's up to you to be the one to look out for your animals and keep them safe and keep them protected. And if there's somebody that is in your area who is leaving their animals outside, that's a call to the animal control people in your town. That's a call if animal control is closed to the local police, because like I said, the law states, that 15 minutes is the limit. So no dog, no animal should be left outside, regardless of what the owners think that, they're providing. Water bowls are going to freeze. And, if it's snowing and there's food outside, that's going to get covered in snow, and food's going to be wet and be no good. Dogs that are kept outside are supposed to have shelter. But, when it's too cold, it's just too cold. And, some people are absolutely okay with the thought of animals should be kept outside, but that's really not the case. Anyway, please, by all means, check out some of the dogs that are urgent in New Haven and in Bridgeport and in any of the pounds that you might have near you. I've read that Thomaston has a couple of dogs that have had no attention. If you've got a town, you've got a pound, and guaranteed that there's going to be animals there that need a home and need you. And, there are slower times of the year than others, and we're coming up on another one. The summer's a bad time, and this kind of gets to be a little slow. And unfortunately, that means that animals are going to die. So don't let that happen. Consider, like I say, the fostering, because that's kind of like rent to own. And, it's hard to let a foster animal go, but in the end, you've saved a life, whether you've adopted or fostered. And, it's heartwarming to know that you were the vehicle for that dog's safety and that dog's forever. So consider it. And, if you're going to foster, do it through a rescue if you can. A lot of times a rescue will be happy to pull a dog as long as it has a foster. Most rescues these days don't have a facility where they can pull a dog and put it. They rely on people like you and me who will foster. So if there is a dog that you have in mind, reach out to a rescue and tell them that, if they'll pull such and such a dog, you'll foster it. End of story. It makes it, a happy ending for everybody. And that's really what anybody wants for these animals, is for them to live happily ever after, crash on somebody's couch, be spoiled, be well taken care of, and, live out whatever years, whether they're younger or older, in a place where they're loved. So I'm thinking it's pretty much time to say goodnight, just about, maybe? Yep, okay. Well, in that case, I'm going to say peace, love, and dogs. Until next time, thanks for watching. Keep